The Parent Show. Want to feed them, books to read them, get a clue on what to do. Angela will guide you through The Parent Show. Lots of hugs on the run, all together everyone. Ask the questions, spark a fire, meet the people who inspire. Oh, oh, The Parent Show, when you need to know. The Parent Show.
So I'm here on the set of Sesame Street, and I'm with the children's television researcher, Dr. Rosemarie Truglio. This is such a scary time right now, and there's been a lot in the media. What would you say to parents about how they should handle any kids' questions?
The best advice I could give parents is to make sure they're limiting their children's media exposure because these are scary images. They don't know how to process these images, and if they do see this, you have to listen to your child and be very careful about how you answer those questions. Try not to give your child too much information. Sometimes a child will ask, is an earthquake going to happen here? And my advice is to say no, because the odds of an earthquake happening or a tsunami happening in that moment, you're answering your child truthfully. If you go
you'd rather apologize later,
exactly.
If God forbid,
right. But what happens is that parents then go on about earthquakes and tsunamis, and they're giving way too much information. And the more information you give the child, they tend to get even more anxious because they don't know what to do with this information.
Have you addressed any of these fears specifically with any of the characters on Sesame Street?
On Sesame Street, when 9/11 did happen, we responded, but we responded in an age-appropriate way. So for instance, we did a wonderful story with Big Bird on loss. Now, it wasn't about death, but it was about a turtle who wandered into his nest area, and he adopted this turtle as a pet.
His name is Seymour.
But because the turtle came from the natural environment, he wandered back into the natural environment.
I feel so sad.
So what we did is we provided children these coping strategies for how to deal with loss. And I think these are the strategies that parents can use. When a child loses a pet, that's real to a child. Validate your child's emotions and give them the words, give them the labels to these emotions, because that sometimes is hard for children. They feel things, but they don't know how to describe what they're feeling because they don't have the vocabulary, they don't have the language.
What would you say to people who think that we shouldn't shield our kids to the realities of the world?
You as a parent, you know your child best, and you need to figure out how much they can handle. And it is a good idea to give them strategies, resiliency strategies, coping strategies for them to cope with emotions. Now, I don't think a young child should be exposed to these graphic images because they don't know how to process these images.
They're even talking about them on morning shows and things that are usually okay for kids to be in the room. So you're saying don't, just shut them off.
I would just shut them off, or if your child is watching television, make it be a safe haven. I know parents often have their children watch Sesame and other children's programs by themselves, and they use it as a babysitter. But our program is written on 2 levels, and we have this wonderful human cast. It's this community, and we're modeling for parents behaviors and verbal scripts that they could use when they're in that situation with their child.